David Ellis-Thomas, we'll turn our attention now to the economy. It's clearly one of the most, if not the most pressing issue in politics and in Welsh politics. And what would, if you were Plaid leader, what would you be pushing for in order to boost the economy?
The priority is low carbon jobs, because that's a priority in terms of environmental policy and sustainability. It's also a priority in terms of the social needs. We've got a huge task of trying to keep our people warm and secure in some of our older housing in Wales, and we haven't really tackled it. We've had our bed 1 and our bed 2. It's going in the right direction, but it's not enough. But the capacity is there, and we need to pursue it.
And how, in practical terms, how does that?
Well, it does mean, I think, it does mean building a new nuclear power station in the northwest, because we have the engineering skills and one of the best sites for that. But more importantly, is using that space then to go seriously towards renewables. And I'm afraid we've got a government that does have a strategy, but is not pursuing that strategy half as effectively as the Scottish government.
Of course, I have to point out that your party is opposed to nuclear power, and that would put you at odds with the party.
There was a decision at the last conference, and people who live and work in the north and who are in that industry recognise that it gives us a very important opportunity for us to maintain the engineering jobs, but more importantly is the connector between the new Wilva and Pembroke, so we'll have a Welsh grid. All these issues are issues we have to tackle, but the drive has got to be towards sustainability, providing green jobs.
I don't want to discuss it, we're not particularly discussing energy, we're more talking about the jobs side of it, but before we move on...
This is the way. Wales, after all, was a major energy producer in the carbon revolution. Now what we've got to be is a major energy producer in the low carbon revolution.
OK, but I just want to pin down, could you lead the party and have a different view to that which was expressed at conference?
I've done that before.
Will you do it again?
but in this case, it's not a different view.
OK, all right. We could talk about nuclear power for the rest of the programme, but we will go back to I mean, it is all related, Leanne Wood. I mean, how would you, as Plaid leader, what would your economic priorities be?
Well, I think David is right when he talks about we need to create jobs in the renewable energy sector. I don't agree with him on the point on nuclear, but
you would oppose a nuclear power station on Ynys Môn?
Yes, I would, in line with Plaid Cymru's position. But that's not to say that jobs shouldn't be created on Ynys Môn, and I think there does need to be a particular plan for people to get jobs there in the renewable sector. We really need to up our game on the production of renewable energy now. But in terms of how we turn around the economy, I think we have to do it from the bottom up, from communities. And in a paper I produced last year called A Green Print for the Valleys, there are a number of proposals there for creating jobs, upskilling people and turning around communities from the bottom up. And a plan like that could be introduced in any community in Wales. It doesn't have to be just in the valleys, of course. OK, we'll come back to specifics about jobs in just a moment. But since David Ellis-Thomas has raised this issue about a nuclear power station in Anglesey, we now know where they both stand. Elin Jones, are you for or against a new nuclear power station on Anglesey?
Well, I'm opposed to any new nuclear power station in Wales, and that's Plaid Cymru's
even with the special
policy.
Circumstances that David Ellis-Thomas talks about?
The Westminster government at some point will finally give the full go-ahead to Wilva B on Ynys Môn. If that happens, and I hope I hope it's not the decision that they take, but if it happens, then of course the local economy needs to benefit from that, and younger people
need to have your cake and eat it on.
We have to plan for that already, which is what we're doing in the north. We're planning for it through the FE sector and so on.
I certainly wouldn't want young people and people in Ynys Môn to think that Plaid Cymru wouldn't want them to be taking jobs in the nuclear power station if it's built or being built. So of course Plaid Cymru should be supporting young people and authorities in that area to design the schemes for young people and others to take jobs in the construction of and use of Wilva B if it happens.
OK, we've